Hi guys, James at Rampant Lion Reviews again for you today with another beer review. For this one we are going to head out to Colorado in America once again, a very picturesque state but also very well known for its breweries these days and of course for canning their beer as well. So for this one we're going to go to a little town called Edwards, which is about a bit to the west of Denver up in the mountains, and we're going to visit Crazy Mountain Brewing Company today. The first time I'm trying one of their beers, and this one is their winter seasonal, which is called Snowcat. It comes in at 5.9%, and it's a coffee stout, which is a style I've been getting a bit more into recently. I've not reviewed too many of them on the channel, so hopefully that will change fairly soon. But this should be an interesting beer, and of course, like I say, Colorado is a state that produces some pretty awesome stuff, so I've got high hopes for this one. But anyway, as is usual with my beer reviews then, I'll tell you a little bit about the brewery. If you do want to get straight to the tasting, just fast forward. All the usual websites are in the description below. That's the brewery website, the link to my future reviews that hopefully I can do from Crazy Mountain Brewing. This is the very first time I'm trying one of their beers, and there's all the usual social media below. Make sure you check that out, and if you do want to see more beer reviews, do subscribe to the channel. And as always, to those of you watching in Colorado, please get in touch and let me know some of the other Colorado beers and breweries that you guys would like to see me review. Let me know what your favourite Crazy Mountain beers are as well. So anyway, to tell you about the brewery, so Crazy Mountain Brewing Company are based in Edwards in Colorado, to the west of Denver, maybe 2 or 3 hours away. I'm not quite sure of the distance, but the company was founded in 2010 by husband and wife team Kevin and Marissa Selvey. Now Kevin is originally from Colorado, and he actually worked for Anchor Brewing Company in San Francisco, one of the pioneering American breweries, before he ventured out to found his own company along with wife Marissa, who incidentally he met in one of the many beer tasting rooms over in California. California, of course, another one of the kind of brewery heavy states over in America. Some great stuff out of there as well. But the company are doing very well these days. They completed a $4 million expansion in 2012, and they've also moved to their new facility in Denver very recently, back in August 2015. And this one was purchased from the Breckenridge Brewery, who are another brewery who initially started out in the mountains of Colorado. But this will actually allow the company to increase their annual output to 90,000 barrels of beer per year between the two sites. They are going to retain the older brewery, and they do have a tasting room at their site in Edwards, so you can go there and try a lot of the Crazy Mountain beers on tap. And they do actually export to, I think it's 20 different countries now these days, and quite a few different states in America as well. This is how I've managed to find their beers here in Sweden. So the brewery are doing very well, and their output is going to increase quite dramatically over the next little while. So make sure you keep an eye on the brewery website and the Facebook and things like that, and you will see some of the things that are coming from these guys, but they're doing it very well these days. They've got a good range of beers as well. Just to list a few of these for you, there's the Crazy Mountain Amber, which is their signature beer, Lava Lake Wit, Horseshoes and Hand Grenades, Mountain Living Pale Ale, Hookie Bob Pale Ale, the Buhai Red Ale, Cara de Luna Black Ale, Old Soul Strong Belgian Ale, Lawyers, Guns and Money, which is a barley wine beer. That'd be really cool to try a canned barley wine actually. But they also have their Snowcat Seasonal, which is the winter beer. This guy here, and there's several kind of one-off and special brews that you can find in their tasting room in Edwards. So make sure you go and visit Edwards. It's supposed to be a very nice little town. The photos I saw looked really quite nice actually. So maybe when I make it to Colorado again, I'll go and check them out. There's a lot of good breweries there, so I'm sure I won't remember very much of my trip when I do actually make it there. So yeah, make sure you go and check out Crazy Mountain Brewing. But let's get on to the tasting of this beer itself. So it says on the back here, the winter brew is an ode to colourful characters, the midnight marauders that flatten the snow in the wee hours as they ascend without fear into the darkness. For them, we took some artisanal roasted local coffee and brewed it up in a stout made of a complex blend of roasted malts. Use this ale in the AM or the PM to get you through the winter months. And the coffee, of course, comes from Vail Mountain Coffee and Tea Company. I believe this is because the Edwards, Colorado is in the Vail Valley, which is actually quite famous, if I remember rightly. If it's the one I'm thinking of, then it is quite famous and well known. But yeah, it's brewed with Magnum hops as well, and like I told you, it comes in at 5.9%. So I'll just let you have a little look at the artwork on the can before we open it up. Let me make sure you're just seeing that. You can see there's some nice kind of mountain peaks. I'm not sure if that's like a kind of snowmobile or something that's on that there, but you can see, I think maybe it's to represent the ski slopes or something like that. But I guess maybe it's named, maybe the Snowcat is actually a machine, because it does definitely look like it's machines on there. So yeah, you can see it nicely presented. Of course, there's the import sticker on the side there with the, I get £1 back if I take this into System Beloga and return the can. So yeah, Crazy Mountain Brewing Company on the top there. But it looks very nice, very nicely presented, so we'll get this guy out and get on with the tasting then. Yeah. So, I got asked the last time I did a Colorado beer when the last time I was actually in Colorado was. And I think it was when I was only like 4 or 5, something like that. I was very, very young, so I don't really remember too much about my visit to the state, other than from what my dad tells me, I was in a huff because you couldn't get the wooden Thomas the Tank Engine trains in the toy shops in Colorado. That was how young I was. So yeah, I'm sure I'll enjoy it a lot more when I go next time, and I'll appreciate it a lot more. So yeah, so as you can see, this beer is poured a really nice, how would you say, ebony rosewood colour. There's a little bit of an amber, ruby kind of tinted edge to this. If I hold it up to the light there, it looks very nice. There's a solid kind of 3/4 finger of a frothy beige tan head on this one, a few big bubbles sticking towards the side of the glass, and a few little ones just going up towards the bottom of the head there. Looks exactly as you would expect from a coffee stout, no transparency to it if I put my hands behind it, but that's surely just due to the colour of this beer. It looks very nice, so let's have a little look at the aroma on this one. Yeah, smells really nice. There's some roasted kind of black malts in there. There's a definite hint of coffee. The coffee actually smells very, very smooth in this one. It's a really nice smelling coffee stout, that actually. I'm not a big coffee drinker. I actually don't drink coffee at all out with the coffee stouts, but I do appreciate the flavours that you get in the beers. So maybe it's a style I need to experiment a little bit more with. The Brazilians are bound to produce some awesome coffee stouts actually. The Brazilian beer scene is kind of booming at the moment, so I need to check that out a little bit more. The coffee stout is a style I just haven't reviewed too much. But yeah, really nice. These smooth coffee aromas in there are really, really nice. There's a bit of roasted kind of caramel brown sugar in this one as well. Really, really nice smelling beer. Some woody and nutty notes as well, I would say, and a little bit of an almost kind of herbal and earthy hop coming out of the beer as well. It smells really nice. It's not too complex in aroma. The coffee is very rich and really nice smelling, but so just make sure you enjoy that a little bit before you actually get stuck into this one. And it's cool, of course, that it's a local coffee that they've used in this beer. So yeah, give it a check out for yourself. Yeah, just enjoy the aroma a little bit on this one before you actually get stuck in. But we're going to try this beer now. So this one is the Snowcat from the Crazy Mountain Brewing Company in Edwards, Colorado, brewed with Magnum hops and Vale Mountain coffee. So yeah, let's get stuck in. Skål, as we would say in Sweden, Slange, as we would say in Scotland. Yeah. One thing I'm noticing about this one is it's surprisingly light on the mouthfeel, which is really, it's quite unusual for a stout actually. You can taste the minerals in this water as well actually, and that's something you would definitely expect from a Colorado brewery. We get the same in Scotland. I always find there's a lot of beer reviewers disagree with this, but I would always say that you can really taste the mineral content in the water, and it does play its part in the taste of your beers. And I always like it when you've got a high mineral content in the beers. That's something you get here in Sweden. It's also something you get back home in Scotland as well, and of course Colorado will have the same. Iceland was another country that had some beautiful water in their beers. You can definitely taste that in this one. But as I always say, sugar the beer around your mouth a little bit and just let your whole palate adjust to this one. What's really surprising me though is how light the mouthfeel is, but it doesn't impact the flavour of course at all. So in the middle of your palate, you're getting a bit of a kind of dark malt. You're getting a dark malt base there across the middle of your tongue. It's really light though. So in the middle of your palate, you've got a nice roasted bitter character just lingering there actually. Yeah, that's really nice. There's a bit of chocolatey sweetness in the middle of the palate too. Just a little bit of a kind of roasted brown sugar in there, which is a really nice little compliment to the beer. But overall, the centre of that palate is really quite roasted, and it just lingers there. That dry character from the malt base just lingers into the aftertaste of the beers. But yeah, the hop side of the beer is very, very smooth. In the back corners of the palate, you've got a little bit of earthy character. As you come further forward, it gets a little bit more floral and kind of and sort of herbal actually. Around the front of the tongue it is very, very smooth actually, but on the front corners you can feel just a little bit of that slightly dry, herbal and floral character coming out of this beer actually. But yeah, that's a really nice beer that actually. The coffee flavours, the black malts, the roasted malts that just linger in the middle of your tongue there are very, very smooth, and I do like that. The chocolate sweetness just complements it very well as well. And there's a little hint of a kind of red fruity ester in this one too. Just behind the very front curve of the palate there, you'll get this little oily bubble, and there's a little bit of a kind of red, almost candied fruit ester coming out of this beer, but it's very, very minimal. The focus, of course, is on the kind of earthy and smooth hops around the edge of the palate, and the kind of roasted coffee that sits there in the middle. That dry roasty bitterness just lingers into the aftertaste there, and it's very nicely done. There's a bit of a kind of woody or slightly nutty flavour to this one that comes out a bit more in the aftertaste too, but again, that's a very, very subtle note to this beer. But yeah, that's really nice actually. The other thing that surprises me about it is when it's a stout. It is, especially a coffee stout, which for me is usually a tasting beer. It's not something I would session, and probably most people wouldn't session it actually. For me this is a tasting beer, but it's remarkably light in the mouthfeel. But it certainly doesn't do anything to the flavour, or anything bad to the flavour. It's really nice, and you can taste the mineral content in the water. It's done very nicely. In terms of the mouthfeel, like I was saying, very, very light actually. It's probably fair to call this beer mid-body. There's a little bit of creaminess, but for me, the mouthfeel is a little bit more oily. There's a little bit of sweetness from the malt base, but overall, the malt base is more of a kind of dry and roasted character. It's sitting there in the middle of the tongue, and that lingers all the way into the aftertaste. The hops overall are quite smooth, but there is a little bit of dryness from the herbal side of things, a little bit of kind of juicy fruit ester, but the mineral content of the water is standing out on this one for me. But overall, it's a really quite nice beer actually. It's a nice blend. If there was ever to be a kind of sessionable coffee stout actually, this is probably one that you're going to look for just because of how light the mouthfeel is. For me, this one's a dessert beer. This is one that you kind of have if you enjoy dark chocolate. You eat some dark chocolate with this or something like that, or you know, a piece of chocolate cake. That's the sort of things that you should drink with this beer, or eat with this beer I should say. You drink the beer, you don't drink the food. But yeah, it's another really nice beer from Colorado, so hopefully I can try some of the other things from this brewery in the fairly near future. I'd love to try that barley wine, but I don't know if I'll be able to find it, so I'll keep an eye out for it and see how we get on. They've got some other great beers as well, so yeah, go and check out the beers for yourself, and as I say, let me know your favourite ones from this brewery in the comment section below, and do let me know your own thoughts on this beer as well. Always interesting to hear from you guys. Pardon me. But once again, thank you for watching my beer reviews. Until the next time, please like, subscribe, share, all the usual YouTube stuff. Go and check out my other beer reviews as well, and make sure you go and check out Crazy Mountain Brewing Co. These guys obviously produce some pretty damn good beer if they're able to expand in the way that they are. On the basis of this one, I can pretty much guarantee you that's right. This beer is really nice, and if ever there was a sessionable coffee stout, then I think I've just found it here. So make sure you go and check out this beer. Thank you once again for watching, and I will catch you soon with my next beer review, and I'm sure I'll return to some Colorado breweries in the very near future. Slange just now, and I'll catch you soon. Cheers.